Good morning, everyone. This is Don V with the Truth Be Told channel, and we have some interesting alleged information on the Frog News Network that we think we'd like to share with my audience. Any rate, without any ado, we will move right to the video and see what you think.
Okay, bring him on, and I'll be finished. I'll wrap it up. Okay.
Oh,
You stuck a microphone in his face.
look, he got a microphone tonight.
Okay, so, guys, when you talk about narrative, you have to understand it's multifaceted. It's also international. It's not just national. Okay, when I say international, you'll be surprised to learn some things, and I'm thinking Jeff might share something here with you in just a few minutes that are going on around us and around the world that involve us. Okay, not just the cabal doing evil, shitty things in our name, but and we're going to save a little piece of it for later, but we're going to let Jeff talk here in just a second, if you don't mind. But there's a very important piece that I want to talk about tonight, and it's it's emotional. Okay, it's very emotional, and it has to be talked about, guys. We have to start talking about it more and more. Okay, so Jeff, man, what kind of surprises
he was
have you
hitting
got?
me in the chat. He had something. He had got a little something.
Yeah, so happy
Step up to
Memorial
the
Day to you
microphone.
guys.
There you go.
There you go. How's that? A little bit better. So, Russia dropped 3 bombs today.
What?
Sergei Lavrov went out into TASS news agency, and you can read everything about it at tass.ru.
Where did they drop them bombs?
No, not physical. What Russia's about ready to do.
Moab, sir. Moab's mother of all bombs. Incoming.
Big. So the first thing Sergei Lavrov put out is Russia is now disconnected from SWIFT. They are no longer on the petrodollar. They've moved to gold.
That would be the start of QFS.
That was the first bomb. The second bomb.
So, Jeff, before you go into that second bomb, so what I'm hearing is, regardless of what else is going on, Russia's determined to move forward with the QFS.
Correct. They are done with the Federal Reserve. And they put out that if you have to wire money to Russia, you have to go through a third party.
Wow.
So they're
not clearing any money from SWIFT at this time.
Correct.
Wow, that is huge.
The second one is about January 6th. They are going to go to the United Nations, and they are going to ask the United Nations to sanction the United States for holding 400 people in prison without due process against our Constitution and against the Nuremberg Code. That's the second bomb he dropped. The third one.
Oh, there's a bonus.
Yes. Is the plane that was grounded in Belarus.
Yes.
Levchenko was flown to Moscow for security reasons. There was a coup attempt by the DS to take out Levchenko. The United States passed that information on to the KGB, who then took it to Putin. And it was a favor that was in return for the football that was given to Trump at the G7. And that football had some information in it on some flash drives that helped the United States in their corruption because they were getting tired of the Hillary, Russia.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
That's some bombs right there.
So,
Frogonites.
Yep,
So
and
I-
that's all on TASS News, TASS.ru. They just
Wow.
released it.
all right. So I'm going to add a little bit to it that I just got. Sherry Goodman posted this tweet just a little while ago. This is a tweet by DC Insider, guys. And she posted actually 2 days before this particular tweet, 2 days before January 6th, which shows without doubt the Capitol riot was an inside job. Okay. It says Pantifa, okay, and Black Lives Matter, okay, and I'm saying that different because I don't want us to get in trouble for saying it the right way, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. DC branches are already busing people in to disturb January 6th. Orders given to dress like MAGA behind and blend in cause trouble, especially around cameras. At night, arson has been ordered, all to be blamed on 19 supporters attending. Please be careful. All right, so that tweet was buried, obviously, and it was saved by several patriots, and then now it's become pertinent again.
Wow.
This news about what happened January 6th may be tired news for some of you. It shouldn't be. We are waist neck deep in the results of this coup. Don't be willing to accept what took place through fraudulent criminal means to become a new normal, or we will lose our country for sure. Don't be complacent. Stay alert. Stay active. We must take our country back. Those who are now in control are demolishing it. The Memorial Day, remember, this Memorial Day, remember, freedom has never been free. We have fought and died for it. We must be willing to continue doing that. All right. And that's from a military person.
Okay, I got a little intel right here. It says the U.S. to hold military tribunals, and I hope I say this right, Terra del Fuego. It's somewhere over on the other side of the world because Guantanamo's base full. They got no more room for tribunals there. There's no more room up in Greenland. There's no more room, so they're taking them over to. It's over near Argentina. It says U.S. military Navy Judge Advocate General Corps has established a new venue to hold military tribunals, deep state players whose names appeared on sealed documents. Some of these people are actors that are going over there and they're having tribunals, believe it or not. Actors that you would know, well, singers. Lady Gaga is one of them that's going on trial. We never knew if that was, well, if it went to the vet, we could get an answer whether it was male or female. Robert De Niro's there, and a couple of other Hollywood stars are starting their tribunals there very shortly. I don't want to read the whole article, but that's where it went with that. There was some more.
Wow, that's some really strong allegations there. That's for sure. Any rate, the story that he just brought up, let's go ahead and just pop over and take a look at Real Raw News and see what they got to say about it. Okay, it says U.S. military to hold military tribunals in Terra del Fuego. The U.S. military and the Navy Judge Advocate General Corps have established a new venue to hold military tribunals for the myriad deep state players whose names appeared on sealed indictments of Donald J. Trump and former acting AG Jeffrey Rosen had written in the waning days of Trump's first presidential term. Till recently, most tribunals had been held at the Military Detention Center in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, but overcrowding and limited space forced JAG to expand its operational scope as it ramps up efforts to capture and incarcerate deep state assets who have committed unspeakable crimes against humanity. The arrests will be coming fast and furious soon, and Gitmo simply lacks enough court space to handle thousands of cases coming down the pipeline, said a JAG official. Speaking on condition of anonymity, we actually have 2 additional locations, one of which is in Tierra del Fuego, and Tierra del Fuego, Spanish for land of fire, is an archipelago off the southernmost tip of South America mainland, across the Strait of Magellan. The U.S. military has had a secret but not so secret presence in the area for many years. It is a clandestine home to several B-2 Sprint stealth bombers and was an attack drone monitoring facility under the Obama regime. So at any rate, I wanted to bring that in and just give you a quick excerpt of what the news story says. You can look it up online yourself and make your own decisions. Let's go ahead and get right back to the Frog News Network.
Stuff, but I seem to have lost it. So go ahead, guys.
All right. So the Russia news is pretty huge, Jeff. And thank you for sharing that with us. And let's read between the lines a little bit of what we hear. In plain English, the number 2 thing you said was that Nasara is moving forward in Russia. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Putin Putin come out and said he's done with the games, and that was last week. And I took that as something different. And then Lavrov come out today in open media in Russia and said we're disconnected from the SWIFT.
Yeah.
All right. So
and I have a brother from down under, and he's convinced that the switching over there tomorrow. They've got letters mailed to them from the bank. Wealth managers. Who does that? Why would you need a wealth manager in Australia? He seems to think that the exchange is going to be tomorrow there for your currency.
Oh, they're saying in the chat about Monkey Works debunking the Tierra del Fuego.
That's a base that Obama built. If you want to read up on it before you try to debunk it, so drone assassination.
Tierra del Fuego, what he was referring to was the prison facility that's there, which is on the video he showed. He did a Google Earth view. That is correct. It's a small prison facility. That doesn't mean that they can't hold a tribunal in Tierra del Fuego and fly them elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't mean that they're going to be housed there. You have to understand, if things play out the way it looks like it's playing out, these judges in the Judge Advocate Corps are going to have a lot of places to go to run these tribunals. So just having Gitmo, and you can look at a Google Earth map and look over the last 5 years how much Gitmo has expanded.
From the Earth, you can't see underground. It's probably grown underground as well.
So it is, what he is saying is true, but what Doug is also saying, there is some validity to that there are tribunals going on places you wouldn't even think about. That's why he's reporting on all these planes flying all over the place. It makes no sense.
Guys, a lot of these planes are landing long enough to shove people into these tribunals in hangars. Okay, we're talking about under the oak tree. We're talking about wherever they can set up a legitimate tribunal and make it take place in a timely fashion and do their business and move on.
Absolutely. So what was I about to say? I forgot already. I'm getting old.
No, you can't debunk tribunals at the White House either, because they did happen. There was a video posted in a Telegram group today, guys. The young lady was very forthright and saying that she testified over 100 times at the White House in military tribunals against the Biden administration and Biden himself on all those involved in that evilness that's up there. So,
yeah. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, Jeff, I don't know if you heard or not, he can let us know what's going on up there. They've really, really suffered up in Canada. They've been put a lot of hardship up there. You know what I mean? As far as the lockdowns they had were nothing. I mean, we had nothing compared to what they had up there. They were under, it was like Nazi Germany up there.
how many's on,
Yeah,
Doug?
it is.
11,000. We'll just stream into one channel a night, guys. We're on the Frog News Network. We're not on Doug Kuzma. We're going to alternate each night that we're on. That way, and to make sense of it is, if we take a hit, both channels don't get hit.
All right, so Jeff, can you
like
put,
war.
Jeff, you talked about the sanctions against the U.S. for the 400 prisoners held. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well,
paint us a bigger picture, if you don't mind.
Okay, so in the beginning, when I first come on the show, I had told you guys about some of the protocols that happened on January 6th where Secret Service drops in that. So that information goes into DNI. And so there has been over 400 people. Now, this is according to Sergei Lavrov. Because they are putting this out because they see that our media is lying. And right now, to be honest with you, I never thought I'd say this, but I would believe the Russian media right now over the U.S. media. They have nothing to lose in this game. Nothing.
That's the exact distinction I was looking for. I was hoping that was there, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Guys, did you hear what he just said? He just dropped a Moab himself, okay? And it makes perfect sense, okay? If you go research it yourself, you'll find it, okay? Because it's out there. There are media outlets all over the world who are outraged at the U.S. media outlet, okay? Outraged, okay? Doug's got some video of China that he can show you that they will never play on U.S. media, but China wants it played because they want to blame somebody for it.
Yeah, it's flooding over there really bad in Wuhan. Cars are floating down the streets, tornadoes everywhere. I didn't download it, but I certainly can play it if you want me to play it, Mike. But
no,
I don't want to get taken down for playing that video. Do you know what I mean?
We'll put it in a Telegram group.
Yeah, because we got to basically, guys and girls, what's happening now is we're really being guarded with the two channels that we have because we reach so many people. We're going to be guarded. More information will be let out in our Telegram group. We're going to tighten up a little bit here and not talk about certain things, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about a lot of intel. And we're currently rebuilding the website to where we can stream directly to the website. That should be in the next week or two. I have one of the top people in the business rebuilding it, so it's going to look really, really nice, and I appreciate my buddy Ken. Anyways.
So Nellie, to jump on your conversation, she asked about, can I elaborate on what 19 or 45 is doing and saying about African Americans on history? Guys, the Tuskegee folks took a big hit from Biden this weekend, this week rather, okay? And there are some narratives starting up about African American history. That's we continue to be divided. Not in the least can we be divided, but I do know that 19 has asked that he handle that narrative that you're asking about, Nellie, so that he can clear not only his name but the good name of the United States, or the good name of America along with it.
So, Jeff, Mike talked about this a little while back, but could you elaborate on all the subs that are off the coast of the United States, East and West Coast, and Hawaii at the present time, and what countries they're from?
Okay, so what was it, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were talking about all the P3s and the sub hunters that were off the coast of Florida. So the way it works is, like when I was doing direct support out of Pearl, the skipper would be told where they're going and what the operation is. And then we would basically tell the skipper where to put the boat that's safe for the crew. And we would start doing what we do. So at any time during this evolution, nobody knows where our subs are at. They have a general idea. A submarine, basically, they call it the top 15 and the bottom 15. If safe for the crew, they put up the periscope and they receive messages from the satellite. So that kind of lays a little bit of groundwork on why all these P3s were out in the drink. So if there was an operation, and I believe that there are a lot of submarines from Russia off both of our coast and in Hawaii. Now, if the United States, they would tell them directly, but it would be so compartmentalized. We would have to basically ask Russia, or Russia would offer us help in basically protecting our shores, because some intelligence agency may have heard that, hey, there may be a false flag attack, or there may be a real attack, or if the reports are true that there are CCP troops to the north of us that's been reported, then that would lay a little bit of credence to these subs being off our coast. Now, for about a week now, these P3s and sub hunters haven't been seen active off our coast. So that tells me that once they found them and reported it to the Atlantic Fleet or to ComSubPac, they were given the, okay, you found them, good job, now leave them alone. That would be my assessment, because if the United States knew that these forces weren't to be off our coast, they wouldn't be there. They would.
Now these planes, what's the name of the planes that can see subs in the water?
P3 Orions. Basically what they do is they drop sono buoys. They're like canisters, right. Drop them in the water, they transmit, and basically what it does is it sends out a ping, and when it bounces off, it reports back to the plane, and there's some other equipment that's...
So let me run this by you. Mm-hmm. Now that them planes, they could be used not only to find Russian and Chinese subs, they also could be used to find the subs that traffic the children, couldn't they?
Correct.
I think that's some of that happened. We know that them planes also found kids in tunnels in Tennessee, and overland in North Carolina. Them planes have found a lot of children.
Yeah, and how I, on my first run, boat run, which was on a sub, I found something that was pretty huge, and everybody thought I was a wackadoodle. And I took the information to the skipper in his stateroom and said, look, we got to head south so we can get a message off to ComSubPac, which is Commander of Pacific Fleet Forces. something that I found didn't add up in the United States. Either they knew it existed, and this is using tunnels to launch submarines
Right.
in a specific country. And when we, after we transmitted that message, an hour later, we got our response back, and they launched a lot of stuff based on this. And it's kind of how I made my mark in that arena. And it was dumb luck. It's not something that, you know, that I was, I found it, good job. No, it was stupid luck that I found it, just because I was bored and I was spinning the dial and trying to find something cool to listen to.
Well, Jeff, in this day and time, would you say that we know that Russia practices communism and don't live the same as we do in our country, but they don't pose the threat, would you say, that China does at this time? They're a little more friendly to us than China, wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
They've actually helped us in the last few years with things, and the fake news media wouldn't want you to know any of that. That's why they try to turn everything upside down. Russia's really not against us. Actually, I think that 45 actually got along with him. They're both a little arrogant, so they probably would like each other, kind of, in my opinion. Not that he's a good guy. I'm not putting a tag on him that says Putin's a good guy, because he's ex-KGB. He's killed many people. Do you know what I mean? But he's very manly, and you know how he is. You know, he don't take any crap off anybody.
I can tell you one thing. He is a very, very devout Christian, and he will tell you. I mean, they have the, trying to think. I know they don't call them cardinals, but he meets with the head of the Christian community all the time. And one thing that I'm quite certain that pisses him off is the trafficking of children.
Yeah, I think that's why he joined the team, to fight against this.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that
there's one thing that Putin fears in all his masculinity, and that is God. And he said that, he has said that on a public stage. Okay, and he meant it, guys. You could see the chills come over him when he said it.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't hide the fact of the, and we can say this on the show, UFOs. They're getting ready to release a big report next month. Why would you think they're getting ready to release a report on UFOs? They're trying to get you used to the fact that they exist. They've been here since the start of time. You don't think they carved them all into the Egyptian mountains and in the pyramids because they didn't exist. They've been here the whole time. And now that when they finally come out with the fact that they exist, everybody said it, you're about to see a lot more of them. And you're about to find out that we have anti-air gravity aircraft that looks just like UFOs that we've had for 25, 30 years now. And we've never been to the moon in a rocket, okay? We might have got there in that anti-gravity device, though, and it probably doesn't take very long. You know, anybody that thinks we went to the moon on a rocket, the masks really work.
Somebody said.
Okay, guys, I'm going to do a quick break right in here. I was watching Robin Bullock, Pastor Robin Bullock. He's got a big ministry back east here in the U.S., and he was on Elijah Streams, and he said that God had just told him that there's about ready to be a mass delusion put upon the world that's going to shake the body of Christ. Now, don't let this UFO stuff shake your faith, because I personally believe, and this is just my personal beliefs, that these are probably fallen angels. They can deceive you with their powers that they have to make themselves look like anything. So when it happens, hold fast to God. You know, He loves you. Remember, He loves you, and don't buy into the big lie. because the devil is working hard to take as many of us to hell as he can. All right, getting back to the story.
My
Somebody
opinion.
said something very important, that you have to know that Russia was a godly nation 600 years before America was
Well,
even
weren't they
thought of.
Roman Catholic back in the day?
Yes.
Orthodox. Yeah,
Orthodox Catholic.
yeah,
Sorry, my mistake.
yeah. And
So
you know, I'm sure when before the G7, when Trump invited Putin there, unannounced to everybody, these two had a very, very, very long conversation. That's why they kept wanting Trump to release the phone call transcripts between him and Putin, because they knew what Putin had. And Putin had information from the 2016 election where they tried to cheat, but they didn't think Trump was going to get as many votes as he did. And prior to that, because how many times has the United States tried to run a coup inside Russia? Because I can remember several times where Putin got on TV and said, "Don't try that shit here."
They don't play with terrorists.
No.
They don't play with none of that. You see how they treat terrorists? They just kill everybody.
Yeah, no do Rusk. Yeah, they gassed them all.
and guys, Putin
Sorry for your bad luck.
Putin
You're
does
an
those things.
initiator.
Putin and both 19 and Putin both do these things so boldly and say these things so boldly because they know the gateway to heaven, and that's through repentance. Okay?
And you know that it's going to start getting hot because the New York Times, this was it Friday, disassociated themselves from, was it Axios, or what, their flame-throwing arm of their news media. They just said, yeah, we're done with you guys. So, yeah, the fireball's coming. And I think what's going to happen is it's going to come, we're seeing the drip, drip, drip. And now we're going to start sucking from a fire hose, and people are going to be in disbelief. When you have, Modi, how is it that all of a sudden Modi has complete control over code C-19? And, oh, wait, maybe that's because Putin is sending HQ, whatever it was, to Modi, because Russia is, because look at the numbers in Russia. They're not reporting it because they don't exist.
HQ is on demand in both countries now.
And
I got intel today that Nehu is on his way out. They overturning the election on him.
Netanyahu, yes.
Yeah.
Nehu. I'm sorry, I never pronounce it. It's
Yeah,
like
BB.
trying to say the country he's from. I just can't get it to come out of my mouth.
BB, yeah, BB.
Yep. And
So what one person we're missing from all of this, and that's G. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So not Biden, but excuse me, 19, Putin, Modi, and G are biggest part or the biggest head of the alliance that is taking this cabal down on the earth part. Okay. You will see the hand of God swoop over the earth here soon. And that's when the miracles will start happening and this stuff will change.
Let me say this. If
Yep.
Putin ever meets with Biden, which I don't think he will, he'll make the biggest fool out of him, and he might even slap his ass. I'm saying he's going to make the biggest fool out of him because he made a fool out of him when he mentioned his name one time. He just played him off like he was nothing. And if he thinks he's going to have a meeting with him, it's going to be the meeting that'll be the end of him. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and I'm pretty certain even if that meeting would happen, are they going to do it within the United States? Because doesn't look like Biden's allowed to leave the country.
Or he's not allowed to leave the senior living center without milk and cookies.
Yeah, he just escorted Rachel to mommy's basement.
Somebody got her. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
trying to
somebody
find
got her.
Rachel.
Somebody
I've been
got
trying
her.
to find her. Been like a worrisome fly in my house.
And you know, here's the other interesting thing. No one has heard from Kim Jong-un.
Well, the word I got is he's actually dead, and somebody's playing him too, and his sister's actually in charge. But we have full control over that country.
Yeah, we do have full control over it, and it's not the black hat control that once was there.
It's the white hat control.
Yes. Right. I don't know about his living or dying. The thing you have to understand is, guys, the narrative is out there that Kim Jong-un is going to nuke us all, you know, and that's the narrative. But that's what they've been telling us for years, and it's believed. Tell a lie long enough, and it's believed. Mockingbird Media.
Absolutely, it's what they did in World War II. They just kept screaming through the bullhorns. Your country hates you. Just give up. It's just a new way of doing it with the news, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's propaganda.
Yeah, and this was sent to me at 1:06 today. So the government arm of the Chinese news media had released a statement that if the United States investigates Wuhan, then the United States should prepare for an attack.
Well, I can say this: they'll find out what the wrath of God is pretty quick if they decide to do that.
They're already finding out.
If I showed you live pictures, not live pictures, but recorded pictures, which we'll put in the Telegram group of what's actually going in Wuhan, you can't even go walk your dog. You need a submarine over there to walk outside your house. Cars are floating down the streets. Tornadoes are going off. It's been torrential rain. I think it's actually let up today and yesterday, but there's a bunch of storms right behind it again. I think what they want to do before they shoot the wrath of God at the dam is make it look like it was natural as opposed to something that hit it like a nuclear weapon to get it to fall. And from what I can see, it's damn close to falling over there. It's awful. The amount of rain and tornadoes and just torrential rain for weeks or months over there. They have a rainy season, but it's come early and it's never, ever, ever been like this. Buildings are on fire and people are walking down the street like it happens every day. It's the craziest thing you ever seen.
Yeah, I seen that video footage where that whole structure caught on fire. Yes. I mean, that was crazy. And they're just standing there watching it like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But and I think before, if it isn't already down, the Three Gorges, one thing that I'm sure that everybody will want is to get everybody out of that region as possible, because when that joker breaks
50 million, they said estimate, probably more than that.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, you don't want to see that kind of loss of life.
Some of this is prelim to getting those people out of there. You know, I mean, they can't help but evacuate the area as devastated as it is. The thing is, guys, is that kind of devastation is going on in China. Just imagine the same kind of devastation that's going on the border. I'd like to talk about that for a little bit now, if y'all don't mind.
Go ahead.
Maybe
Abbott,
go
some people are saying Abbott flipped, and so I mean we'll see, guys. But
somebody put "I'm weak" in there. I'm weak when it comes to children getting murdered and raped. I'll show you how weak I am by sticking my AR-15 up your ass if I find you doing it.
All right.
Let's change.
I didn't mean to drag us down like that, but guys, that's something that had to be said, and it has to be dealt with. We cannot no longer be a nation of it doesn't affect me, so therefore I'm going to choose to not see it.
It's what it is. What we need to be concerned about right now is to keep our eyes on Arizona. It's where everything's going to start and end. And everything looks the same. What do you really need to do after that? You know what I mean? You've got what it's going to be. It's the same way. It's the same thing when they call the elections. They get 30% of the votes and they just call them. That so-and-so won it. They won it in the past. Well, if it's
At any rate, well, you heard it here. A lot of alleged information there. Well, thank you for joining me, Don V, with Truth to Be Told, out of the wonderful, beautiful state of Arizona under sunny skies. Until the next video, we will stop right here.